3, 2, 1, go. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds.
So cool. So I kind of talked to you guys about this a little bit, but it's just kind of where we've been kind of doing our podcast. You guys listen to the podcast every single time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't missed a one.
Just the one? Was it the Ryan and Kai one? Yeah, so it's just kind of like it's super conversational. It's just kind of us say like, hey, how have you guys been during this whole thing? And what are you guys up to? And what's life? But it's also kind of turned into like, hey, we're actually getting to know stuff about you guys that we didn't even know. Like, wait, Amy, you're a doctor? Like, that's that was good. But wait a second, you do what now? I think it was someone else. I
think that's more just a testament to my idiocy. So.
Well, when even with Chad, I was like, wait, Chad does. Hold on, I'm still not even totally sure what Chad does. I just know it's really. He's a smart.
He's a molecular chemist, molecular chemical biologist.
He's a
genetics.
He's a rocket surgeon.
He plays for the Houston Rockets. What?
So so it was just kind of it's been this kind of like kind of getting to know you guys a little bit more, but also kind of how things have been going. So like for example, like you, Amber, like I mean, you know. Your whole job is transitioned to being at home as well, and then Joe, like Real Food Catering, went from having ready-made food plus the cafe went from having a cafe space to having food in the fridge. So now you're selling groceries, and so kind of ways that you guys have the hurdles.
I love that.
Come with this.
I love that. I love that sequence of that narrative. That's right. It's Joanne's hero's journey right there. Campbellian hero's journey of Joanne.
And
now you sell groceries.
And now you sell groceries. So and we have a giant like child-sized bag of flour sitting in our living room because no one else wanted to buy flour at the bulk rate.
Is that the story Meg told you? Yeah.
Yeah. I know what she's doing. She likes to make bread.
So I really I'm on here for this episode for only one reason. I want to know how to start a sourdough starter on my own without anything, and then I want to make sourdough bread. That's all. That's all I want to be able to do by the time this is over. So if we can make sure that happens in the next 45 minutes to an hour.
Maybe that needs to be whatever the maybe that needs to be like an addendum to the podcast is Joanne teaching Eric and Jack how to make a sourdough bread starter, and then us baking.
You don't have to make one. You can have some of mine.
Oh, there you go. Well, I read the New York Times article, and it kind of made me want to make my own.
No,
don't.
Mine's from San Francisco.
Oh,
different,
they got better bugs out there. All right.
They have more progressive bugs out there. They're more hipster bugs too. They were doing sourdough bread starters before anyone else was.
I'll take that. I'll take the culture. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And then you can take some flour from Eric.
Good point. Yeah. Good call. Nice. It'll be a good done. That's my field trip for today.
Maybe you and I need to make our own bread. We need to have a bake-off and people judge our bread. Maybe.
I don't want to. I don't know. I don't want to make it competitive. I know. No competition. Too much pressure. It takes the fun out of it. I'm trying to change, Eric. That's what I'm dealing with in therapy. I'm trying to remove the unrelenting standards.
I'm just trying to get in therapy.
I thought this was our therapy.
Right? I talked for about 12 minutes. They're like, yeah, no. Let's move on. So anyway. So questions will kind of come up as we go. Questions.
We're already, what are you talking as we go? We're already in it, man.
As we continue.
I hit record 5 minutes ago.
That's true. We're always recording, FYI. This has been recording since before you even got on. Jack and I were practicing our fart noises before you guys got on. Because we knew at some point Amber was going to say something, we were going to go.
That's the sound check.
Sound check.
Cool. So, and so yeah, let's officially kick it off. Ding 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 ding. Welcome to Grounds After Rounds. I am Coach Eric.
And I'm Coach Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, you did. You pointed at me. That was right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is pointing down Joanne and Amber of the Gethin Ward household.
Just Gethin.
Oh,
Well, the kids are Ward. Okay, but we're just Gethin.
You're just Gethin.
It's like, screw the kids.
What?
They were here for a long time this week.
Yeah, they're not here anymore. They'll be back on Wednesday.
It's funny. My sister-in-law has not changed her last name to Hoyp, and it's not because like I'm not frustrated with it because it's like, well, you should take the husband's name because that's the rule. That I don't care at all. She told him she would change her name, but it's more because she doesn't want to be a Hoyp. Like she doesn't want Hoyp to be her last name because her last name is Friel and she likes Friel and she's very tight with her family. And she doesn't want to give it up and she doesn't like the sound of Hoyp, so she doesn't want to change it to Hoyp. Which, whatever, Hoyp is a funny noise, but it's like, come on, you told him you would do it, and she's like, I just haven't had the time to go do it. It's like, now you just say you don't, like, just straight up say you don't want to do it.
Well,
maybe
neither
I'll
one of us are officially Gethin. We haven't handled the paperwork yet.
You're living a world of lies.
So who was originally Gethin?
That's my maiden name.
Okay, I got. And so you're still officially Ward.
Yes.
You haven't changed back to Gethin.
No.
And Amber, you haven't changed to Gethin. That's hilarious. That's awesome.
But socially, we're Gethin.
Which I mean, in the end, right? Like, isn't that the most important part? Like, all right, cool. Like, who cares about the paperwork until like you actually legally have to do something?
If anything, I feel like
Law.
yeah, there's like the craziness that is your household should just be called the Gethin Ward.
That was funny.
So maybe that's just what it needs to be. The
That's
Gethin Ward.
cool.
Well, Gabrielle wants Amber's middle name to be McDonald and my middle name to be Ward.
That's a really fun game. Right? Like, that's so cool how they're involved in the conversation and how just dynamic it kind of is. I like that. I really like that. So Eric, I think you should give your sister-in-law a break. Be a little less. I think you should be a little less judgy on her.
Was I being judgy? Was that a judgy tone?
Yeah, I vote a little judgy. I don't know though.
Good. I need someone to keep me in check. I don't get it at home at all.
Now I'm sensing some sarcasm.
Good thing Megan's only going to listen to one episode ever.
Yeah, the one that she was on. Well, yeah. So kick it off. Tell us your story. What's we'll start with the easiest question. The easier question is always like, how'd you start with CrossFit? How'd you start with us? Maybe that'll we'll dig into some of the other background stuff. But I'm always interested in that. Like, where was it us that started with CrossFit, or was it something earlier? Yeah.
So I started CrossFit probably like 10 years ago, but
oh wow.
Yeah, but very intermittent. I was usually doing just like the personal training side of it. And then for one reason or another, my trainer would either move or something, wouldn't work out. And so I stopped and would always find my way back to it. And then we were getting ready for our wedding. And I thought, what a better way to get prepped than to do CrossFit. And I had actually, when I first moved to Annapolis, which is only year and a half ago now, I had reached out to you guys when I first moved, but I had no idea where anything was located in relation to anything else. And so I was like, oh, I think I want to do CrossFit now that I'm in Annapolis. And finally, in the lead up to the wedding, I reached out and realized you guys were right around the corner. So I began my love affair with Eric in our personal training sessions.
I'm really glad we started our love affair just before your wedding. I love the way you framed that.
And
Yeah.
then Joanne was curious as to what I was doing, and she wanted to get involved. She would come by and visit and see what we were doing, and yeah.
Yeah, so I did foundations with just me.
Yeah.
You were by yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was gutsy. You shortened it though, right? Wasn't it only a couple? You made it
No, I
a
think
couple
we did all-
sessions, or did you do all four?
I think we did all 4.
Yeah.
And but the sweetheart that Amber. Oh no, you did. Did you do Fran with her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll say, which I thought was like a good, like, true testament. Like, you've got yourself a good partner here, because Amber showed up on graduation night and did Fran with her.
Second workout of the day.
Second workout of the day. That's right.
Oh.
That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was awesome. Plus, you said that Joanne was curious, which is amazing, because we ask people to be curious all the time. It's on the wall. It's on the wall. We were just talking the other day. It's almost been a year
Mm-hmm.
since you and I started hanging out. Yeah, you're coming up on your anniversary. Our
Yeah.
anniversary of our love affair.
Our love affair
CrossFit.
with CrossFit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How's it going?
It's great. We love you guys.
Oh, we love you.
That's all he's looking for. He's just fishing. He's just
We're
fishing
done
for
now.
some-
That's
yeah,
it.
he's just
You got
fishing
what
for
you
somebody to
wanted.
kiss his
So
butt.
I was joking. I was telling Amber and Joanne, we were, I can't remember if it was this past time or the week before, but I said it was having you two together, like with personal training in particular. It's having the full range, like that full spectrum of athletes, one side and the other, as in, like, so Amber likes to get, like, Amber's very, why are we doing this? The technical, why isn't, like, why am I moving this way? And what is this going to work? And how am I going to improve? And how is this going to, like, and gets kind of a little nerdy with it. And then Joanne's the other one, where it's just like, can we just, like, move and get it done? Like, I'm just here to sweat, get it done, and go home. So Amber's asking, like, the questions about, like, the technique side of it, and Joanne's asking the questions like, can we be done already? And it's that full range, and it's so entertaining to have, like, especially with the two together. It's very it's a fun hour that we get to spend together, especially when you two are together.
Yeah, I'm the one who wakes up first thing in the morning, and the first thing I do is check the workout. Joanne doesn't want to know what it is. She just wants to show up and do it. Like, I'll be at work. Like, if we have days we have heavy lifting, I'll be at work plotting my lift and what I want to attempt.
Yeah.
Bring in my little paper. But yeah, so we're pretty different in that respect.
And I think a good question too is, so Joanne, you've been doing this for almost a year. How many burpees do you think you've actually done?
5.
5? Yeah. Like, we'll be doing warm-ups, we'll be burpees in the warm-up, and I'm watching around, and Amber or Joanne lays down, and I look, and she's still laying down, like, waiting for everyone else to finish before she gets back up.
Woo! Got that one done. Sneaked
Yeah.
it in.
So
I don't
Good
like
to know. Good to know. I'll be watching.
yeah.
Time I coach the 515.
David Eric.
Now she just kind of steps off camera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just all of a sudden, like, no, I'm doing my burpees over here, I swear.
Oh.
So cool.
Yeah.
So other than CrossFit, what do you guys, kind of give us I mean, lawyer, chef, right?
Yeah.
But what is that actually? I don't know. I always am, somebody says I'm a lawyer. I thought at first, like, oh, like, it was sort of, LA law or,
You do, like, bird law?
Oh, just wait,
Law and
Jack.
Order, you know what I mean? Like, I thought that's kind of like when, Amy told us she was a doctor, I'm envisioning, like, Grey's Anatomy, and she's in there with, like, McSteamy and McDreamy, and, meanwhile, which actually I still think that's the case. I mean, she could still be, I do still think Amy's on some TV show somewhere, and she just hasn't told us.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, what's that actually entail? And
Man.
what
So,
do you guys actually do for a day job?
Yeah, so I'm a lawyer. I mainly deal with antitrust litigation. Yeah. No, it's
Sorry, what was that?
better,
What?
it's better. mainly in the dairy industry.
I'm actually I'm intrigued. So like where would that like large dairy conglomerates like putting stuff together and cornering the market on cream?
Pretty much.
So it's a lot of like major nationwide class action lawsuits involving like all consumers of dairy versus my clients.
Okay.
They get in a lot of trouble for price fixing. They did a thing where they were retiring cows to
That sounds ominous.
retiring cows to reduce the supply of milk, increase the supply of beef, and increase the supply of beef. It's all part of marketing.
Yeah.
So they got sued for that in a couple different courts. The latest thing I've done is we were involved in helping the country's largest dairy cooperative acquire the world's largest dairy processor.
Okay. And this is right. Like this is where that could feasibly start to trip antitrust types of laws, because you've basically now got a single source provider and processor, and they now have complete control over, no, you're not paying $4.50 for that gallon of milk, you're paying $9.
You get it.
Yeah.
The Department of Justice investigated, and it was
Okay.
a several months long process of getting the deal complete. So that's the type of thing that I do.
Nice.
So trying to avoid someone milking someone for every dollar they have is what you're saying. That's really not fair.
Done, sir. Well done.
Been on that since before we even started. I'm like,
That's 2 for 2. 2 for 2. He's checking those off. He took a bunch of notes. He's like, all right, dairy jokes, name jokes. I don't know what else he's got in there.
It's a struggling industry. So
So from your client side, like they are struggling to, is it demand? Is it supply? Like what makes?
there's way too much supply and diminishing demand with all the
Okay.
dairy alternatives.
Yeah.
They're really struggling. And so the whole reason they had to acquire this processor is the processor was going bankrupt. And if there's no plants for their milk, then they have to dump it. I mean, they don't have any choices then.
They already dump it anyway.
Well, yeah, with coronavirus happening, the market's been struggling even more.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I know. I mean, geez, we've had the same gallon of milk in our fridge for almost 2.5 weeks, and so like most of the time we're pouring out I don't drink milk. Nicole doesn't drink milk much. The boys are pretty much the only ones who do, and it's only the twins. So I can see, N=1. I know in the last 10 years, our consumption of dairy, I know for me, I'm extremely intolerant to it. I went about 1.5 years, 2 years without a single thing of dairy. And then I introduced it back in like one time with some cheese and instantly was like, sneezing, histamine response, like really, really much more sensitive than I ever thought I was. And then I was like, oh, that makes sense growing up, having extreme sinus and, skin issues. Interesting. So I can see where it can be a challenge. Does it feel like you're on the, I don't want to say wrong, but sort of the like you're the New York Yankees of the Yankees, Boston Red Sox?
No, only because, so we represent these large corporations, but at the base of it, it's all small dairy farms.
Oh, I gotcha. Because they consolidate in at some point, but in the end, it is at the operational level side, they're small farms.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, interesting. So that's a really good perspective, right? It is still making sure they don't get trampled by the market and by the legislation and the laws and stuff.
Right. There's all these sorts of exemptions in the antitrust laws for dairy because they are the little guy, and part of our like values as a society is that we appreciate the small farm and farmers. So
yeah, that's really cool. So that's actually kind of a fun connection back to then Joanne being sort of in the food industry as well. Like, does that have anything related to how you guys met?
No.
Oh, darn. I thought maybe you were at like a dairy conference or something. And
Tinder.
Yeah. Oh, that's even cooler.
It's kind of the same way. You're just herding. You're going through the herd there, like picking out the prize cow, right?
Easy, buddy. Easy.
Hold on. Let me use a different animal metaphor now. Oh, do continue. Tinder.
Oh,
No, so
Tinder.
we'll go back to PG. So Joanne, what's like? Where did you get into what you do?
So I went to college at Johnson Wales in Rhode Island.
I know exactly where that is. I actually had I had a friend who went there, and then I had that I worked with in DC. But then I had one of my mess specialists who became a CS, a culinary specialist, on the first ship I was on, who was a graduate of Johnson and Wales.
Oh.
That dude was like not a whole lot going on between his ears, but holy crap, was he a good chef? Like amazing. But it totally made sense. We're like, how did you make it through? And then it made sense. Like, oh, okay, that's why you're a CS3 in the Navy and not like, a 5-star Michelin chef somewhere. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, that's a cool ass school.
Yes, it's cool. So I did culinary arts and culinary nutrition.
Wow.
And then I did an internship and was down here and got my registered dietitian license. And I worked in a lot of hospitals and long-term care facilities. And then I had kids. And then I decided, then you have kids and it's like, what can I do at night? Because I have them all day. So
yeah.
I got back in the restaurant industry, mostly serving, but then kind of, what I do. Oh, then the kids got older, went back to school, went to school. So I had more time on my hands and I opened a restaurant in West Annapolis. I was there for about a year. And
Which one did you? Which one?
Evelyn's.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then what?
I went there for the first time a few months ago. They said you weren't there.
Yeah.
Delicious.
You're funny.
I don't think it's because you weren't there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I've been working with Becca, the owner of Real Food, for the past 4 years or so, like off and on. And then this past about a year ago. So when you're a caterer or you do like prepared meals and stuff like that, you have to have a certified kitchen. You have to have a health department certified kitchen. So
Okay.
in order to do the prepared meals, I'm not supposed to just whip those up in my kitchen and drop them off at the gym. You have to have like a regulated kitchen.
Okay.
So we've had like 3 spots over the past few years. The first one was down in Galesville at a sailing club, and that was just so far away. So when the opportunity came to work at the cafe at the marina, it was kind of like, all right, well, let's give this a try. So we worked there, during the summer. It's a cafe for the pool, and then off season, we just continue to do our catering and prepared meals and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know that about either that you need. I mean, it would make sense though, right? Like you kind of have to. Again, coming back to the regulatory stuff, it always feels like that stuff is always somewhere someone made something, packaged it up, gave it out, or sold it, and got like hundreds of people sick. You know what I mean? And so the government went, whoa, we better get our hands on this one and somehow tax it, regulate it, somehow get our cut of the pie. Oh, and keep you all safe too.
Yeah.
So I like it. I like big bureaucracies. They make sense to me. But that's cool. I love that because you import the wet dog.
Yes.
What is it? Something Wet Dog?
Wet Dog Cafe.
Wet Dog Cafe. Yeah, it's in that Port Annapolis marina, that pool or whatever. We used to go there in the summer. That's where we would do like 2 or 3 summers. We got a membership there for the summertime pool because the other one that we would go to at the Naval Academy, their Northern Severn pool or whatever. The one time we got, because it was like $6 to join with it was ridiculously cheap. So you go, the boys are probably, I don't know, 9 and 7, and we're used to being in Hawaii and different places where there are no rules. You can just show up and do whatever the hell you want, jump and raft and blah blah blah. We show up at this pool and the boys go out on the diving board, go woo, jump in. It was like something out of, I don't know, like a James Bond movie or something. Like all of these lifeguards and people in red shirts just, what are you doing? Get out of the pool. They sat them all along the side of the pool and were like, the rules here are, and like listed out the rules, and the boys are just like, what the? We never went back. So we needed to find another place, and our neighbors were going to Port Annapolis. We're like, oh yeah, nobody cares. You can do whatever you want. It was great.
He skipped the part where Andrew was streaking while swinging his swimsuit over his head.
Well, I mean, you ain't swimming naked, you ain't swimming. So anyway, I love that place. And I remember when Eric said that you were coming on board and that you were cooking down there, I was like, nice. So
Yeah.
What's
Fun fact though, there's not a single wet dog in that cafe, so it's really just a name.
It's just the name.
Don't be deceived.
No, it's somehow listed on the internet as a dog-friendly cafe. So we have people come in all the time with their dog. Like, they're not really supposed to bring their dog in, and they're like, well, it's listed as pet-friendly on the internet.
May need to work on that Google SEO classification of some sort. So what are you finding? By the way, it totally makes sense now, too, the fact that you went to Johnson & Wales, the food is so absolutely phenomenal. It seriously feels like we're eating, like whenever, I remember the first couple times you did it at the Open, I was like, what the, are you kidding me? Like, this was so good. I was like, is she sure she wants to give this away for free? Like, this is, I'm just going to take a little bit of extra. But as we sort of, I don't know, over the last 2 months of quarantine stuff, has stuff been more challenging? Has it been kind of what was the pivot move to the groceries? Like, how did that all kind of
well, I think the pivot move to the groceries was nobody could get, can we swear on here?
Yeah.
Nobody could get fucking eggs.
Whoa, don't exploit it. I mean, come on. Jeez. All you gotta do is earmuffs. I mean, Eric, watch. Earmuffs, Eric. Shit, hell, damn, fuck, right? Like, all right, I mean, it's all right, buddy. Come on out. Come on out.
He's stuck there. Oh, we broke him.
My virgin ears.
Nobody could get eggs. Yes.
So, Becca, I just remember her being like, this is ridiculous. Like, there's no eggs. And so I had actually foreseen all of this. And we were like, we were good for like a year over here.
I mean, weeks before it really even hit, Joanne just started stocking up like it was going to be an apocalypse. And I thought she was crazy.
Yeah.
No, because no one was doing it yet.
Yeah.
So,
but back, we were just like, you had to go to 3 different grocery stores to find milk. And that's just defeats the whole purpose of not going anywhere.
Good point. Yeah.
Why don't we just start, getting deliveries, and, our friends and neighbors and whoever needs food can get it from us, and we won't we're not going to charge a ridiculous amount of money for it. It's just sort of a little bit over cost for us because we have to break it down. But we only thought it was going to go on for a couple weeks. And so then it didn't stop, and we're kind of just rolling week to week trying to see what the best system is.
Yeah.
And then we added the meal kits and the ingredient kits. And those are way more popular than we thought they were going to be. So we kind of this week we spaced everybody out over 4 days of pickups. Some people get meals, some people just get groceries. But yeah, it's gotten way bigger than we thought it was going to be.
So how's that look like walk me through sort of the process. You know what I mean? From like sort of from your perspective of if I'm to execute it, you know what I mean? From like, you know what you're getting, you put out the information, you receive the orders, delivery, like what's the life cycle?
So Sunday and Wednesday, we put in orders with our distributors. So we have a produce person who also has like bread and like staples and, you know, milk, eggs, stuff like that. Then we have fish guy. And then this week we brought in meat from Capital Meats. So we had, you know, yesterday we had, like we get a full side of beef, you know, like a whole New York strip thing.
Gotcha. And you guys cut it up.
And we cut it up. And so I'm there like early in the week. So I get all the groceries. They all get delivered, you know, like cases of stuff. And then I rearrange things in the fridge. And, you know, basically the orders that we get in on Sunday, you just go through. It's like I was shopping for you at the grocery store, but it's our cafe. So we put everything together in boxes.
So I put my order in on that Sunday,
Yeah.
text it to you. You've got that series of orders. You get the delivery and you start to prep out for people to come pick them up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're like cutting, you know, I cut the deli meats and cheeses and we package them into like 1 pound packages.
Cut the cheese.
There it is.
Sorry, go ahead.
He's dairy insensitive too.
You know, portion out like yogurt and sour cream and all that stuff because it comes in, you know, 5 gallons.
Gigantic, yeah. Like.
So it's just been interesting. Like, you know, we've had to package it. We've been kind of experimenting with new bags and containers and stuff like that. So yeah, we package everything up and then I kind of do it as each order is ready because I don't want 7. We used to do it, pick it up by 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody would wait till 2 and there'd be 20 people outside.
We are defeating the whole purpose of the social distancing.
So I kind of like do it as I go, and then I'll put it outside, and people just come and pick it up. They don't even have to come in. Yeah. So,
and that happens all on Sunday, or is that then Monday into Tuesday?
So now it's kind of like a weekly. It's like Tuesday through Friday. People are picking up. So Monday is kind of like I just go in and get the orders. They get delivered. Kind of get everything organized. We might throw together like a couple small orders because there's a few people in my neighborhood I deliver to, and there's a few people that Becca delivers to.
Okay.
And then the majority of the pickup orders are on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Gotcha. And the people, you send them a text when it's ready, or they just have a time? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good system.
Yeah.
Are you looking towards like some sort of management software thing? You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if is there some kind of app or something out there that manages this?
Well, we have somebody working on an online order form for us through our Square website.
Okay. I'm sure texting is not the best way.
No, it's not the best.
Well, there's an aspect to it. So I forget, it's Kevin Rose or somebody like that. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's a .com type of person. Tim Ferriss, you know, he and Tim Ferriss always do probably once or two, you know, Tim Ferriss is 4-Hour Work Week, 4-Hour Body author, has his own podcast, kind of like the social lifestyle design guru for like the last decade.
I'd be willing to you've heard stuff from him and just didn't realize that. It's very likely you've come across something of his.
But there's a moment. So the texting and kind of that personal one-on-one, like very concierge level service up to about 10 people is probably desired. Do you know what I mean? Like, you do not want to incorporate too many systems. Mm-hmm. But at some point, there's going to be a number. There's that Gladwellian, you know, Malcolm Gladwell kind of tipping point and when it happens like that. And so it's like you start to see it and you need to kind of have the thing in place
Yeah.
and put it in place while you still don't need it, so that there's never that, oh crap moment. And like, usually it's like 6 to 10 people is kind of that moment. And then the moment comes again at like 50 people. And then the moment comes again at like 100 people. And so there's a couple books out there about like that idea, but I'm sure you're getting close to kind of that tipping point of still manageable, but
we might have hit the tipping point last week.
as you're there slicing the deli meat, answering text messages, one hand slicing, one hand texting.
We had to have my mom come help us, and literally I give her my phone and I'm doing orders and she's like,
who's this he up guy, he keeps texting me looking for his
are you using the word tipping point in place of like boiling point or breaking point?
Nah, that's Malcolm Gladwell's book, Tipping Point. Like, you never know when the tipping point is in the moment. It's always, you go back and you look and you go, oh, that's where it was. And so he goes through in, the Malcolm Gladwell style, and looks at a whole bunch of disparate, industries and scenarios, and goes back and says like, look, this is what they all kind of universally share, is that it's most likely a volume thing, not a level of service thing, not a industry thing or categorical thing. And if you can distill it down to just volume, and he looks at like talks about like hockey players, and I think it's like in the first chapter, that if you look at the NHL, the majority of NHL players have their birthdays in the first quarter of the year.
Right?
Oh, that's Outliers. Right. So he talks about, and then he has another book called Tipping Point. Sorry, you're right.
Okay.
But he talks about that in, like, he introduces the idea of a tipping point in Outliers, and then he wrote like a whole book about it. Sorry.
I'll have to read the other book because that book is fascinating.
Outliers?
Yeah.
And so that's the idea, is that you don't know what the tipping point is until it's after the fact, but you can start to become more geared towards seeing how, and like you can kind of feel it instinctually, which you guys probably felt. And you already are right, you know what I mean? You're already working towards like, oh, okay, putting it in place. And so it's a lot of the same stuff Eric and I talk about too, of we used to use an app or a system called RhinoFit, which was great it was free for up to a certain amount of people, members or whatever, and it continued to be awesome until it wasn't. And we switched over to the one we use now, I would say right at about the right time, but it's only been now almost a year of using it, or 9 months of using it, that we're actually using this new one for all its functionality. And so if I'd switched over earlier, we probably would have been, swimming a little bit faster with it. So that's all. This is the type of stuff I always am very intrigued by in different industries, of like, in the end, it's a what, C2C, consumer to or B2C, business to consumer system that you're running. And that interface, though it's not as important as the interpersonal relationships, if that interface sucks, then people notice it. If it works and it's great, nobody notices it and cares about it, but it's the stuff you've got to worry about like all the time. That's awesome. I'm so happy that we get to exploit that and have you available. But I'm also so happy for you that it works out. Like, it's a win-win for that,
So I think I may have asked you about this before, but the one thing, and Jack, I don't know if you realize they started doing this, is almost like HelloFresh Blue Apron style, is pre-made, like, or pre-prepped meals. And is that something, like, were you doing that before, or is this come with the, and like, is this something now, like, even let's say a year from down the line, is something you still, like, maybe you're not doing grocery pickups anymore, but you're doing these kind of like,
I think so. In our perfect scenario, we actually like being a grocery store. If we could find a location and do sort of like a grocery co-op, where you can come in and you can get local produce, local, meat, local dairy, as well as stuff like the meal kits, prepared meals, things like that. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But if not, like if we stay at the cafe, then yeah, we're definitely going to continue with the meal kits are like you need a very small amount of prep to put the meal together.
Yeah.
Where like the ingredient kits, it's like you do everything.
Yeah.
And people like both, sometimes they want to cook and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
So it's been very popular. But yeah, we're definitely going to continue to do it.
Yeah, I like because we love the pre-made meals. I was like, but I like I do like being in the kitchen. I know Meg does occasionally too, like actually making the meal. But it's also, I feel like when it's not already made, like maybe like the fajita kit, for example, like you give me that stuff and I don't have to eat it today or in the next couple days. Like I can let that sit for a few hours. I feel like the pre-made meals, you're on a little bit shorter time clock because it's already been either cooked or whatever.
Yeah, they've already been cooked and they've already been in their fridge and,
Yeah. But those have, but like if I can plug those have been well, I don't know what you guys want to call it. Like I don't want to keep saying like HelloFresh or Blue Apron, but the real food pre-prepped meals.
Yeah. So I think like
really
down
awesome.
the line, when we are doing prepared meals again, it's like you have 3 options. You've got chicken fajitas. You can either get all the ingredients and do it yourself. We can do some of the prep work for you, like marinate the chicken and like when you get the fajita one that you guys did.
Yeah, yeah.
And also the prepared meal.
Yeah.
Where we can just have it like totally cooked.
It shows up in a package. Yeah. And obviously at like each of those levels, it's a slightly different price point.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, those are awesome.
I gotta say, I haven't figured out our right 8 weeks in. I still haven't figured out like our life cycle with the 3 boys and me and Nicole, and then we've got a midshipman living with us now too. So it's sort of been like a hard. But right now I'm like, what the funk are you doing, dude? Like I can already see. So I'm in. Like I'm getting it. I'm going to get it. And actually, I tried one week, and it was the week you changed your number.
Oh.
So I texted and I was like, it went like a day or two, and I was like, she never got back to me. I wonder if she's even doing it still.
Oh, it's okay. The person that has that number now is really nice. I'd still text them all the time.
But then I saw and I don't go on Facebook that much, so I didn't see the message. And then I saw it and I was like, and then I just never got back up on step because
I'll send you the weekly list then on text message if you don't go on Facebook.
I'm in. That's like because it is the allure, not allure, but that attraction of having, as Eric just described, that was a good plug. We get to like I do like cooking. And so I can usually make it till about Thursday in the week.
Yeah. And
then Friday I'm done. Like I just don't want to cook. But we've tried like a couple different versions of we tried Grubhub until I didn't realize, and I don't know if this is true, but I didn't realize like how bad it is for the actual establishment.
I don't think anyone did.
To use Grubhub.
Oh, really?
Or DoorDash or any of these delivery services that basically they're just breaking even at best to use the delivery service. And again, I haven't checked my sources on that, so I don't know how true that is. But so we were kind of like, ooh, and I will just order it and deliver it. But it's still like for 6 human beings, like it's over $100 price point. And I'm like, God, for food that's not even that great. Whereas if I could go with you, and have that kind of in ready reserve, done. Yeah. And so that's sort of where my brain went as far as.
That's why we kind of, the pizza, we do like a pizza meal kit.
Oh, yeah.
We make the dough, we make the sauce. And just give everything else you need to make a pizza. And, there you go. There's Friday night.
Visually, sorry. So for our audio listeners, I was just shaking my head like vociferously. Like that's what I'm talking about. Where I want to have that part of the process. I like that. I don't mind also if like the pizza just showed up to the house done. Like that'd be kind of cool. But I'm totally fine.
Those lights at Rocco's are shining a lot brighter.
Right. Which was closed.
Yeah,
did you guys know if it was there? It was closed the other day at a weird time. Like I don't know if they're
maybe
not.
they're on limited hours.
Yeah. That'd be a sad. I like Rocco's.
Well, they're supposed to expand into the place next door.
Yeah, they're still working. There's still work being done on that place.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So let's
So,
talk
Amber,
more
where do
about
you-
Rocco's then. So what's your favorite thing to get from Rocco's?
Eric right now is like, ooh, I could do Rocco's for lunch.
I wore a swimsuit today.
Does lunch start at 9 o'clock?
Yes.
Amber, where do you fall in this mix? Like, are you sort of just the are you?
The joyful consumer.
But we had we had the brains behind our operation. We had Nicole and Meg on.
Megan?
Yeah, I got there. We had Nicole and Meg on last time. It'll be the one that precedes this one. So
Megatron.
a lot of time lag for folks when they actually listen to this. But we kind of asked them, like, as the spouse of this small business owner, what works, what doesn't, what's sort of like, I'd rather you just go back to, you know what I mean? Or I don't know, like, what's your take on it?
I mean, I love it. She's home a lot, which is great. It works with our schedule, especially now that I'm working from home. But it's nice when I had a terrible commute to DC, the hours are great. So in the evenings we can see each other. But yeah, I mean, Joanne and Becca are really independent. The most thing I contribute is I'll read over their newsletter and try and spice it up a bit. But that's about it. Like they've got a great handle on the business, and they're always coming up with creative ideas as to how to spin things and make things work better, especially during this period. So I'm always surprised when, Joanne comes home and there's some new idea floating around.
That's awesome.
Now you've started your own little side business though, right? It hasn't gone into
my cello business.
Oh yeah, I did. I saw that.
Yeah. So
to be distributed by Real Food. Is that the plan?
My new quarantine hobby. I'm planning to quit the law and go fully into making.
I have to ask though, like talking about regulation, like is that? I mean, are you got like yourself a little like bathtub gin operation back there? Prohibition?
It hasn't gone that far yet.
No, it's Tito's. So, yeah. So I've got my my grapefruit cello going, limoncello. We have an orange vanilla cello. And next up is lime. So that's
that. So do you like ferment it and then it like are you making it from scratch? What's going on there?
It's an embarrassingly easy process, really. You pretty much just zest whatever fruit you're using into your vodka, let that sit for a week, and then you make a simple syrup with just sugar and water. And then you pour that, you strain your zest, you pour the vodka and the simple syrup together, let that sit for 2 weeks.
There you go.
Well, I think you need to experiment with some of these zesting and some flavors and come up with their own secret like Gethin cello.
Ooh, nice name
Like
too.
what that would be.
Do you have like a specific vodka that you use?
Yeah, Tito's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Tito's.
I'm not that schooled in high-end vodkas.
Is it high end? Is Tito's high end?
It's pretty middle of the road.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
But that would be the next move, right? So you got to start making your own vodka from potato. Isn't vodka come from potatoes?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that I'll go that far, but I've been thinking about, you can take vodka and turn it into gin. I've been thinking about trying that. So
We got like alchemy going on in there.
All of a sudden, there's gonna be a trailer sitting out front. She went from making cellos to meth. I don't know.
I know, right? That's it. Breaking Bad at the Gethins.
Oh my gosh. I saw you made like little. Do you have a label maker or something? Because didn't you make special little labels for your own?
I didn't make them, but I
Okay,
ordered
that's-
them. I'll be right back.
Yeah, we need to plug this as well.
Yeah.
At the first, like maybe it'll be at the 3-year party, hoping that we can still have it. Maybe you have to break a few of those out.
Yeah.
Did you say no?
I said, yeah.
Oh, I was like, wow, she supports you.
Man, that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's
Cool.
Amber Gethins. This one's a grapefruit.
Oh, that looks really nice.
It really is.
That's
Are those like, again, like because you have access to Joanne's like distributor stuff, like those bottles, Did you buy them like wholesale, or they like, you know what I like? They look
Yeah.
legit.
No, these are just from Amazon, but eventually I should probably start talking to Joanne about getting some wholesale.
If we're going into volume or bulk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High output.
That's
Yeah.
really freaking cool.
That's
So,
awesome.
so Christmas is taken care of. Like there's all the holiday gifts.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I have a Friday night call with my college friends on Zoom. We've been doing it for like 6 weeks now. So every Friday night I'm working on my cellos during that call.
That's
Not
cool.
actually conversing with your friends.
multitasking.
Amber's just on mute the whole time. Yeah. Checking in.
Testing. Anyway.
So what are the kids doing? James, a beast, FYI. A beast, and well, now in waiting because he doesn't like being in front of the camera. But he's I loved with James because I think he was at his dad's house, and he's set up, and it was so cool because I'm like, here's like the elliptical in the back, and I was like, I go, James, what weight dumbbell do you have? He goes, and he looks aside, he goes, I have a 10, a 15, a 20, a 25. I was like, do you have a whole rack at your house? He's like, yeah, all day. He had like a bench, like a small barbell. He had his own gym. I'm like, why are you not running this class? So, but how are they holding up?
They're good. They're
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Now the school's it's officially summer vacation, right? Or are they finishing? Do they have to finish the online stuff?
Yeah.
Is there a cutoff date?
They have to finish. It's
Been a challenge.
it's challenging.
Yeah.
But I mean they're doing pretty good. I'd say.
Yeah. Still doing classes and homework, lots of homework.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're doing good.
Cool. I'm glad.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, that was exciting. That's the only part I really want to talk about was James and Gabby. They seem like they're doing fine. Did I tell you there was one day James did not, what was it? I feel like there was a day that James didn't come work out. Or no, maybe it was a day like you guys didn't, we were going to work out or something. I forget what it was, but like maybe you guys were going to come to the gym, but you couldn't because James was sick, or he didn't work out because he was sick or something like that. And it was later that evening, I saw him and Gabby. I went to walk Mary Francis's dog. I went to walk Kia.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw James and Gabby because their dad lives over where I would walk this dog. And I saw James and Gabby out like running around in the street. And I was like, I thought James was really sick. And so it was almost like this like, is he sick at mom? Was he sick at mom's house, but maybe feeling a little bit better at dad's house? Or was dad like, whatever, go sweat it out, run around outside?
That's probably what.
But I swear it was like that morning you were like, yeah, James was really sick. He had a high fever and he just wasn't feeling well. Like maybe I saw you like that Sunday morning. He was sick and he's just laid up in bed right now, blah, blah, blah. And that like less than 12 hours later, I see him like full sprint up that street like with Gabby. I was like, I remember being a kid. Where I was like very sick in the morning, but then it was like, now I'm getting a little stir crazy. Time to go outside. Oh, I'm feeling so much better now.
Yeah.
Until it's time to go to bed, and it's like, oh, feels good.
I think Jack, you told me that once too. With one of the boys didn't come. Like one of the boys didn't come work out because it wasn't feeling well. But then he got a new fishing rod, and it showed up. At
It instantly feels great.
Jackie's like, Dad, I'm gonna go fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was like, I don't know about you guys, but I think pretty sure I was that kid too. And I'd be surprised like when kids aren't that kids. It's like, yeah, I felt that way in the morning, but
I don't feel good enough to go to school. But everyone's playing basketball. I'm gonna head out and play basketball.
Of course, I say that I was that kid. I'm also might be that adult as well.
Meg, can you take care of
Meg, I just, I know we have a lot of laundry to fold, but I could just really just relax on the couch for a little bit.
Wrestling's on. I'm going to go watch wrestling.
Yes, that's almost exactly what it's like. I'm going to go to my brother's and watch, WrestleMania.
Here, take Fiona with you.
Yeah. So cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, cool. I think it's time to lead into Jack, you have any more questions for him?
I'm good. You nailed it, dude. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I had no idea about the food stuff. And Amber, I'm serious. I'm fascinated by. I took a whole. It was a whole course during a semester. I got a master's in health and wellness coaching through MUIH, former Thai Sophia up in Colombia. I'm not sure if you guys know that place. It's a pretty good. The program is awesome. The master's coaching, the health and wellness coaching master's program. Whew. But there was a class on the food system, the food industry, and we spent like 6 weeks on the history of the food bill, the annual yearly food bill. And so the amount of politics involved in
Wow,
the
yeah.
meat industry, the dairy industry, the grain industry, the soybean industry, like it is not about food. Like it is seriously not about nourishment or what's best for populations and stuff. It truly, and it all started in the Nixon-ish era, the mid to late 70s, as these regulated industries started to realize that if they didn't get a lot of subsidies and involvement by big government, they were going to fold. And instead of letting them fold, they but again, like I say that from my ivory tower complete ignorance. In the end, it is a mom and pop farm that if that regulation doesn't exist, they go under. So anyway, I had no idea. Again, you're
so right that the whole food pyramid is really based on like lobbying and farmer, not consumption needs.
Like I could be all bitter and fight. Oh, it's not it's not as healthy as it could be, whatever. But then 6 million people are out of work. And it's like, pick your poison, buddy. Which one do you want to really fight? And so it's cool. That's actually always, this is a sidebar, but no pun intended. But the idea of defense attorneys, like as a critical component to the system, to the legal system, right? Like somebody could be like, I can't believe you're out there protecting those big businesses, blah, 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 blah. But you showed like, yeah, I am protecting the monolithic, but it's because that is the thing that needs to exist to protect these small,
it's like a trickle down
entrepreneurs. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it all has to be part of the system and be done by people abiding by these laws that are there to protect all of us. And so it's a fascinating and so complicated. And in the end, the truth is probably much more complicated and nuanced than we think. And so you can't just quickly I can't grab on to like it's that person's fault, or it's that person's fault, or it's that fault, right? And like, nah, the truth is a lot less interesting than you think it is, but it's actually a lot more interesting than you think it is, right? Like that's anyway, so fascinating. That's so cool. And I don't know. I guess that's my gratitude. I really didn't have one other than I'm so grateful for these, Eric, for these opportunities to learn. But I'm just really cool that you guys found us and that you continue to just be awesome and a part of really just exploited. I'm just really happy. I'm really excited and grateful for my pizza kit that I'm going to get.
Well, thank you guys. We really, I had just moved to Annapolis and Fairwinds has really become my community, and everyone has been so amazing and welcoming. And I've been to a number of CrossFit gyms, and you guys are truly unique in what you do and the community that you cultivate. So we love you guys.
I think it's just because we really don't know what we're doing. So.
It's just kind of like what do you guys want to do? Okay. Let's do that.
You didn't pick up on that in the town hall from last night. Oh, you guys don't want to start? All right, because we're not starting.
Just everyone's saying they missed everyone so much, and now it's like, well, I don't miss you that much. That's what it felt.
This will be funny when it comes out like 2 weeks from now and be like, oh wow, that's how they figured out not to start. Or to start. Yeah.
I would say I'm really glad we had that town hall, because it definitely opened up things more a little bit. Like, it's like, okay, there's a lot more concern.
Maybe that's my addendum. Yeah, that's my second gratitude. Gratitude part B is like, thank goodness for. I'm very grateful for the honesty and authenticity that people bring to their comments. Seriously, like I've been going back and forth with Dr. Jim about like kind of that I think there were some voices that were the silent majority stayed silent, but were voiced by a lot of folks last night. So
Yeah, for sure. So
anyway, sorry, I took two. What did you have, buddy?
Yeah. So mine is actually like Amber and Joanne, you guys have been great. And like I said, it was crazy when we were talking about it. It was a year. It's been a year. And I'm just trying to think of like all the different iterations we've had of like getting together and like figuring this thing out. And I love our little, like I feel even more like you guys are like my special little people, because I get to see you on Sundays. We do our personal training thing, and it's lifting. Like we lift. It's always lifting, because it's like, don't worry, we're gonna get like the Metcon stuff in during the week, and then like we do our lifting, and then we look at the week and we come down to the plan, and we don't cherry pick, but it's like, all right, hey, you're gonna do 4 workouts this week. Let's look at these ones, and so sometimes it's the it's
strategizing, like, not cherry picking, strategizing.
Yeah, it's totally strategizing, and then just like from keeping the personal training thing going, like even though it was like me yelling at you like through your iPhone out in your front yard, like one of their neighbors came over and they were like, "Where did you guys get those barbells and stuff?" So they had like a stall mat in their front yard with the barbells and stuff, and so you guys have just been. It feels really. You guys make me feel really special, because it's like. Sometimes I don't feel, and this is just like my own personal hang up, sometimes I don't feel like I'm the greatest coach, or like I'm the greatest, like I think I know what I'm doing. I'm kind of confident that I know what I'm doing.
You do.
Like the fact that you guys like keep coming back is like, all right, I got to be doing something right. If they are like still willing to do this, and like Joanne, even you, like even if I say 9 o'clock in the morning, the fact that even though Amber probably like dragged you out of bed at 9 o'clock in the morning and just threw coffee in your face to wake you up, like you guys still come. So you guys make me feel really special, because you keep coming back, and kind of gives me that I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Validation. Thank you, that I so desperately need. So thank you.
Yeah,
I would say there's jealousy. I'm jealous of that. I think you guys are awesome. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, we had initially only thought we'd be doing personal training through the wedding, but it's too much fun to stop.
God forbid Amber doesn't PR on a Sunday.
Oh my God! I said I almost said to Jack. I said I almost said this on the podcast last night when people were asking about like having to use lighter weights or doing. And I was like, we spent all Sunday with nothing but an empty barbell, and you guys were like, Amber, you were like, how am I going to PR with an empty barbell? But I was like, man, like you guys were sweating, like, and it was like we were outside and it was cool and breezy. But man, you guys were like, it looked hard. I was like, maybe I'm doing no, we're going to do another set of this. And you guys were so awesome. But it's
so Mike Bergner was on a handful of podcasts, and you guys know who he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he talks about when he was still coaching in the high school level, but also, he was a USAW, Olympic. I think he was one of the head coaches for USAW's Olympic team.
Mm-hmm.
And he would get athletes who had been Olympic weightlifting for 5-10 years, and he would break them down and be like, 6 months, right? We're on the new cycle, beginning the new 4-year cycle for the Olympics. You will not put weight on that bar for 6 months. And then once he would then put them back at 30 or 40% of what their former PR 1 rep max was. And they would just put 5 pounds a week, 5 pounds a week, 5 pounds a week for the next 6 months. And by the time they were done, they would enter into the next training cycle at or above their former PR. And that's like, world-class elite Olympic weightlifters went back 6 months back to just an empty barbell. And that because
don't give Eric any idea.
Right, but because in the end, we're not limited by our strength. You're limited when you're talking about that, precise of a sport, you're limited by your technique. And most of us could benefit by taking a step back and going back to just the basics of unilateral movement with a dumbbell, gymnastics movement with just body weight. Like we could all do our joints and our tendons and our little muscles some favors of not going so heavy from time to time. So I won't give them any more ideas. But I'm still so jealous, and you guys are awesome to be willing to do that. But Eric, it's because you are a phenomenal coach. So don't sell yourself short, brother.
I'm good for the week then.
It's my job. I'm the short one. Don't sell yourself short. Hey, did you guys hear why you got to really hand it to short people?
Oh boy, why?
Because you can't reach it otherwise. We've used that one a handful of times now, so but it always delivers.
These two were giving each other a hard time about T-Rex arms the other day.
That is not a problem that I have.
He reached out. I actually just felt him touch me. I felt my arms are through Zoom. Jack touched me. He had consent. Okay.
Well, Joanne, did you want? We stole all of the gratitude thunder, but if you got, I don't know, you got one?
I mean, I'm just kind of grateful for the whole community and, new friends. Like I came off a divorce and I lost most of my friends, my ex-friends. And, Amber moved here and we didn't have any mutual friends. So it's just been really nice.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Makes me want to cry a little bit. But I'm a man. I don't cry.
Oh, I cry all the time.
Yeah, really. Who am I kidding? Actually,
I think I cry enough for the both of us, Jack. It's okay.
Would I ever tell you a story? So when Andrew was born, we're down in Florida. I'm going through EUD school. Nicole goes to the Air Force Hospital, has the C-section, and it's in the morning, and I was able to be there. And so they bring the baby back, and I'm like, oh, my poor son. No. And then later that day, they bring him back in, and then I'm gonna cry again. And it's 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, and he's in the little bassinet next to the bed, and we're sitting there, and I'm getting ready to go back home and get some stuff or whatever. And I start crying again. And Nicole looks at me, and she goes, dude, seriously? Tears, crying again? Is this now a thing? You're just gonna cry every time you see?
See, that's good, legitimate man crying. See, I cried during that ET commercial for Comcast during Christmas. So
it's the Friends episode. I opened the box.
Yeah.
Or Chandler just cries. So, all right, well, we'll let you guys go. Sorry, we could do this all day.
God.
Yeah.
Oh.
Land the plane, Eric. Land the plane.
Hey, so, okay. There's 2 muffins baking in an oven.
Oh, God.
Okay. I thought this one was perfect because it's food related. There's 2 muffins baking in the oven. One muffin says to the other, man, it's really getting hot in here. And the other muffin says, it's a talking muffin.
Oh, my God. Oh, Eric.
Boom.
You're
All right,
welcome.
folks. Well, this was fun. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And yeah, I look forward to my pizza this weekend.
All right.
Back to bed? Is that what's happening? You guys going to lay back down now?
What time is it? I think I might have to go to the office, which is my spot on the couch.
There we go.
Cool.
All right,
Thanks, kids.
we will see ya.
All right. Bye.
Thank you.